Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Ringside Report MMA. Tonight we're previewing UFC 260. Miocic Tate coming back to the UFC. And Corinne Laframboise, fresh off a big win, is in the house. Let's go! Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Dave. There is Freddie. There is AJ. How you doing, guys?
What's up, salty dog?
Salty dog? What do you mean, salty dog?
I meant to say Skittles to Corinne, not cocaine, just to
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, Jay.
Let's hope Dana White is not listening, but I sent him a message, so hopefully he'll hear like Corinne and get her on the big show, man. So it's Skittles, not cocaine, kids.
So there is Corinne Laframboise, and we're not even going to address what AJ's talking about. AJ, before the show, was actually telling Corinne that she should use cocaine to avoid the effects of jet lag, which Fred and AJ and Corinne and I, we all disagreed and said that was not good advice. And this is why we don't take AJ's advice ever on the show. And we're going to get to UFC 260 picks, and we'll only take AJ's advice on the card if he agrees with me, because otherwise it's going to be ridiculous, whatever he's going to say later tonight. Corinne, first of all, thank you for being here, and congratulations, fresh off a win 5 days ago in the United Arab Emirates. You're here joining us. Yeah. Thank you, and congratulations. What an awesome win.
Thank you to have me on the show. That's really appreciate. And big win in Abu Dhabi last weekend. So proud of it. Was a jiu-jitsu clinic.
Yeah, a sweet armbar. You got another victory. And, you know, this is something that we've seen over and over from you. Beautiful jiu-jitsu. And great MMA, you know, you're just doing it again, and you've been fighting here in the United Arab Emirates. This is what, your third fight for that company? It's starting to feel like a home company for you. Your record is getting bigger. Everything is kind of moving in the right direction for you. What's next? I mean, I know it's just 5 days off the big fight, but what's next right now for you?
Yeah, it's just 5 days off, but I feel like top shape, so I'm just doing that quarantine time, and then after let's go back to work. And we talk about. I cannot say when or exactly, but we talk about the championship fight for the next one. So the 125 pounds belt, it's vacant. It's available since the Manon Fiorot left for the UFC. So, that's going to be the next step for me, the fight for the belt.
Well, that's huge. Yes. That's big news. You're in quarantine right now. When did you get back to Canada?
The 22nd of March.
So you didn't stay around in Abu Dhabi. You came right back.
No, we came 2 days after. So the fight was like the 20th, and we left 2 days after. I live over there, like... Usually it's nice, we can go outside, we can go at the beach, but now it was just like I'm going at the hotel, locked down in Abu Dhabi. So beautiful outside. Wow. I had the time to take a little tan. Actually, I burned a little bit, but that's it. We are locked down over there, and they are really strict with those new rules with the COVID. I think my nose get just bigger because we get tests every day over there with the swab.
Wow.
They are really strict on the procedure, but no, it was nice to be able to fight during that time. So I cannot complain too much.
They test you every day?
They test us every day. First of all, we need a COVID test to take the plane, so 48 hours before to take the plane. After that, we arrive in Dubai. In Dubai, to go to Abu Dhabi, we need to pass one test. Okay, perfect. After that, they put us in lockdown in Abu Dhabi at the hotel, and every day we have a COVID test, to be sure that nobody have something.
Right.
And no, I think I passed 8 times 8 COVID tests. This time was good because the last time in the summer, the last fight I had, I broke my nose. But with or without nose broken, they do those tests. They do this test.
Oh.
So this time was a little bit better.
Yeah, I can imagine sticking something up your nose when you have a broken nose that's horrible.
Yeah,
That's the worst.
Horrible, yes.
Oh my God. That's the life of an MMA fighter, right? It's tough work. It's tough. People don't realize, like, the fights is one thing, but, like, dealing with the injuries, it's after the fight, right? After the fight, it's like things happen. Even when you win, there are things you got to deal with in the days and weeks and months after fights, because these things, it's not like, oh, you're in a fight and you get a couple cuts and you're okay. It's like a car crash pretty much every time you go in there, right?
It depends. There are some. The last fight was like, I cannot complain. I have like my body's top shape. I have nothing, no problem. But if I give the example of my first fight in MMA, I won 2 minutes of the first round by armbar, but I have time to broke my jaw at two. Like I get punched on the jaw and I broke it. So it's you're in the pain business now, so it's different. But the goal is to avoid those situations.
But you're a dental hygienist, so you must get free treatment after that, no?
Exactly. Exactly. I have a nice orthodontic treatment after that, so they are all straight for the moment. Yes.
And this, now, during the pandemic, you fought now 3 times. So you've been, or I guess maybe twice, because the first time you fought in Abu Dhabi was in late January. It wasn't of last year, right? So it didn't quite start yet. It was still kind of normal. But now you've done it twice, going over there and fighting during the pandemic. Is it different doing it now, coming back, than it was last year in July when you did it the first time?
It's a little bit more complicated. Like now with it's more complicated here in Canada with the government restrictions, but over there, like what is new, it's you need to pass those COVID tests, and everybody's in bubbles, so you need to take your appointment to go at the gym, or like, and you're really like locked down. You're not allowed to go out or visiting. It's not a possibility, which it was in July. We was able to go outside and to go see La Mosquée du Sac Zaïd and to walk around. But now this time it was really a lockdown at the other part of the world. So
and
that's
now
the difference.
Yeah, and now in Canada, what's it like for you? Do you have to be? I don't know what the rules are now. I try not to pay attention.
Are you training illegally?
No. That's not what we want to
No.
know. No, she's training legally. Everything she's done has been totally above board. We're not asking her about the gyms and everything like that. I want to know about, like, do you have to be in a hotel now for quarantine? Do you have to? What's the story? Like, are you at home? Where are you?
Actually, I'm at home. I'm at home for 14 days. And, we need to send information to an application, ArriveCan, and report every day, or if you have a headache, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And we need to pass the COVID test arriving to the airport, and 10 days after they give you another COVID test to pass at home, and after 14 days I should be good to go. I'm the more clean person that you cannot expect for the moment, because damn, I passed those tests and who are all negative. So let's continue on that. Let's be negative.
That's it. Continue on the negative path. That's good. Now, Fred is right, though. He makes a good point about training. Like, is it difficult to train? We have more restrictions in Canada than maybe fighters in New Zealand. Do you think that there is an advantage for certain fighters fighting other places where they have fewer restrictions? Has it been difficult for you to train MMA, to continue your training under these kind of rules?
For sure, it's a challenge. It's a more challenging because like now all the gym are closed, and when you look at it, I think it's Miami. I was talking with one of my friends, and he's able to train every day, no problem. And I think even in France, they do kind of they are able to work on the people are reduced, but they are able to work. It's just like in the In Quebec, we are strict in the curfew. They're not allowed to go at the gym, so it's you need to be more original in your training for sure.
Yeah, it's very difficult, and I can't help but think that we're putting Canadian athletes at a disadvantage when they go out there competing against other people. Because we have these. And we're not encouraging our athletes, and I think that's a real problem here. We're not doing a lot for these athletes like you that are competing here, but we're not kind of making it easy for you. And then you're going and competing against people from other parts of the world, and you're at a disadvantage in a way because they have fewer restrictions, right? It's difficult. It's really
100%.
tough. It's really tough. I feel for you, and I feel for everybody competing in MMA these days, especially from Quebec and from Canada, because it's tough. Like, I don't know how you guys are doing it, training,
But even for
they give exemptions for.
Go ahead, Corinne. Sorry, AJ.
They give exemption for hockey player, and we are not able to have it like for us because I think it's a fédération thing, or I don't know what is it, but no, our government doesn't help us at all for on that part.
Yeah, it's really disappointing. And when do you go back to work in the dental hygienist world?
I'm gonna do maybe because like I study in dental hygiene, so I want to keep my license active. So that's why we need to have a formation continue. I don't know what's the translate, but we need to do some hours in our work to keep our license active. So I take a little bit of contract, and now I'm working at the Carrefour Dentaire Richelieu on South Shore of Montreal for another I'll book another month there, but I'll prioritize 100% my fight and my training, and I want to push on the MMA part, which drives me more than to be a dental hygienist. But I like that the clients are different.
Yeah, yeah, it's different for sure. You could be like
no punching in the mouth.
You're like the Britt Baker.
No.
You're like the Britt Baker of MMA, and I don't think you probably don't know who Britt Baker is, Corinne, right? Britt Baker,
no.
She is a dentist, okay? She is a dentist. She's also a pro wrestler, and she wrestles in AEW. Last week she had a match. She was all bloody. It was crazy. She's very tough. She's also a dentist. Look up Britt Baker. I'm sure you would like her. She is a pro wrestler and a dentist for real. She's a real tough lady, and, it's something about dentistry and fighting. I don't know.
I will have a look at it. I will have a look at her. But I heard that all the time. Like the weekend, she break the tooth, and during the week, she fix it. So I heard that story all the time. But it's funny.
AJ, you got any questions here?
No, I was going to say actually earlier with the coaching and that it's so tough for the fighters to get proper training in Canada, but it's also for the coaching itself. And I was going to get to Corinne, where her coach, like I'm saying, Fabio, in fact, went from Charles Jourdain fighting in Vegas, who flew over to Abu Dhabi. And I don't know how many swabs Fabio got from Vegas to Abu Dhabi. But the challenge is that these Canadian coaches are really pushing the envelope. I mean, they're trying to accommodate their fighters. And this individual went from Vegas straight to Abu Dhabi. And I don't know how it was, Corinne, to get
seriously, I told Fabio that I really appreciate, and I'm pretty sure Charles Jourdain appreciates that too, because he's doing compromise too. He needs to do those quarantine after all, and he left the country for 1 week before me because he was in Vegas with Charles, and after he took the plane straight to go to Abu Dhabi. And now he needs to do 2 weeks of quarantine at home. So he's Fabio's doing a great job. I can count on him, and he support us. He believe in the fighter that he's training, and he support us, and we can see that in that situation. So.
And I was gonna get at is that Fabio, being with Charles Jourdain, who's in the UFC. I know that he was rubbing elbows with Khabib. I know he talks to Dana White. Have you had an opportunity to get any talks with Dana? Any potential? Is there anything brewing that we should know about?
Dana White, not personally, I didn't talk with him, but Dana White, Khabib, and Dean Thomas was there for the last UAE Warriors when Louis Jourdain fought, and they are there to have a look on the fighter, and there's a couple of fighters who fought in UAE Warriors who just upgrade in the UFC, so I think it's a good tremplin, good transition to go in the UFC. So I didn't have the chance to talk with him personally, but I know he's there and he's around, and he have a look on that organization, UAE Warriors.
And you can bet that once you take that belt home, they're going to come calling. You know, that's what's going to happen. That's the next step. That's what I see.
Dave, I was actually going to say, actually, I don't know if Corinne knows this, but I just got some rankings about 3 hours ago. And Corinne is actually ranked second in the Middle East out of 115 active fighters. So you're actually ranked second in the Middle East right now. So I don't know if you knew that fact,
Sounds
but
good,
that came out about 3 hours. Yeah, that's awesome. And right now, you're ranked first in Quebec, as well as fourth in Canada. So, I mean, your stock is definitely going up. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of eyes in the women's division and possibly the UFC, which, hopefully Dana White is listening tonight.
That's right.
Yeah, hopefully.
That's right.
I have a couple of offer. Sorry?
Oh, go ahead,
I
Corinne.
said I bothered him enough to watch it.
Oh, cool. Continue. I have a couple of, after that fight, I had a couple of offer on other organization, but I really plan to, I love UAE Warriors. It's an amazing organization. They take really care of the fighter, and they have amazing publicity, visibility. So I plan to stick there until I move to the big one. The last goal is to go at the UFC for sure.
Who's the Dana White of that company? Like, who owns UAE Warriors?
Mr. Fouad Darwish.
Okay, and he's a good man.
He's a really good man. Really good man. You can see that he loves what he's doing, and he put all the effort to make those shows really interesting, really amazing. And he just started last weekend. I fought on the Saturday, UAE Warriors 18, but on Friday they put another show, UAE Arabia. So you can see that he really loves what he's doing, because he's able to build 2 shows back and back. I don't know if you know how complicated is it to make happen one show, but they are able to do it for Friday and for Saturday, and they have the goal to put show I think every month or every month and a half, which is a big big deal.
Not many MMA promotions are able to do that, especially during these times, but just even normal times. That's a big deal. And you watch the promotions, we watch you fight there. It's like it's a high level production. It looks, just like the UFC. It's just as good. So definitely looks like a great promotion. We look forward to seeing you as their champion coming soon. And we'll talk to you again.
Yes.
We'll talk to you again when we know who the opponent is and everything like that. So thank you very much, Corinne.
Perfect. Thank you very much to
Skittles.
That's right.
Tony.
That'll help your jet lag.
Oh my God.
That'll help your jet lag.
Skittles. I wish you a good night to all of us, and talk to you soon when I'm gonna have the name of my opponent.
There she is, Corinne Laframboise. Follow her at Co Laframboise on Twitter. There she is. Thank you, Corinne.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Corinne.
There she is.
Dave,
Corinne.
Dave, I didn't know.
Did we lose Fred?
You were gonna show the Freddie. Are you there?
Oh, Fred's there. Hey, Fred.
Freddie's doing Skittles, man.
Fred, are you there?
Yeah. I just reset it because it was lagging a bit on my part.
All right.
Dave.
What?
I was going to say, I thought you were going to show the video of Corinne. If you go to her Facebook page, there's a video of her doing the transition to that armbar, which was really, really nice. I thought you were going to be up and about, bud.
With
all the tech stuff. Yeah, man.
Well, I didn't know we had the right to play videos from other MMA promotions. I think that might get us taken off YouTube.
No. I
You
don't think
don't
so.
know about that. Okay. Shout out to Patrick C. Hamilton. Shout out to Angelo Contagonis. Shout out to the members, Douglas Hepburn. I see you. Become a member of the channel. Don't forget to like this video. Subscribe for more content like that with Corinne Laframboise. Great talking to her. She's a great fighter.
Awesome.
She's a badass. I wanted to talk
She's
to her
so nice.
about the Gabby Garcia, Craig Jones jiu-jitsu intergender match this weekend, but I wanted to let her go because she has jet lag and she's tired. So we'll talk about that later. Did you see about that? Do you guys know about that?
I heard about it, but I didn't think it was actually taking place.
It's real, and it's
Okay.
spectacular. It's happening this weekend on Sunday. Apparently, they're going to stream it. No, like, grappling sites wanted to cover it. So they're going to do this jiu-jitsu super fight, Gabby Garcia versus Craig Jones. Craig Jones is a top jiu-jitsu man. Gabby Garcia is a top jiu-jitsu lady. And you can see there's a serious height and weight difference. Gabby, much bigger. 6'6" compared to
Wow.
Craig Jones at 5'6". Gabby tipping the scales at 285. Craig Jones 5'6", 185, which is like pretty solid, man. But still, she is much bigger, and she is very good at jiu-jitsu. Apparently,
Look at the
nobody
size
wanted.
of her, man.
I know, she's gigantic.
Look at the size
she
of
is
that.
one
That's like a
ginormous
Sasquatch.
lady. She's a beast.
Dude, that's a Sasquatch.
And they
on
are going
steroids.
to grapple on Sunday. I think it's going to be streamed on one of their Instagrams. That's happening this Sunday. If you think this is a joke, you're in for a
Wow.
pleasant surprise. March 28th at Gabby Garcia
Jeez.
Official. That's what Craig Jones is putting out there. So, oh, hold
Dave,
on.
and
Yeah.
you know what's crazy? You know
Yeah.
what's crazy is that picture that you're showing is not doctored. Like it's like,
No.
oh, they're trying to make the girl look so much bigger than the guy. No, they're actually being nice and generous because she towers that guy. And if you've ever seen her like live, I mean, that girl's pecs are like Hogan's pecs. She's huge, man.
Would you call
She
them
is
pecs?
Huge.
I think they're called breasts.
Bicep. No, her biceps, dude. I'm talking about that.
You said
Get your mind out
pecs.
of the gutter.
Well,
Dave.
biceps aren't pecs.
I don't think you say pecs for women, do you? I think you say
Or-
just breasts.
well,
No, it's
I
kind of.
don't know,
Well, I
man.
guess they have
Freaking-
ups. I don't know. I can't tell. Gabby
don't know,
Garcia is
dude.
just all beef, pal.
She's
she
just
is.
a beast.
She is a monster,
she's mean, man.
they're gonna grapple on Sunday.
But why?
Which is so
Why
crazy.
is no? but why are grappling sites like staying away from this? Like
Intergender
why not, man?
freak show? I don't know.
But it's not. But I mean, there's no strikes. Why not, man? I don't know. If you've been in a gym, girls grapple with guys in gyms. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't they be able to do it on a stream?
I agree with you 110%.
I expect Greg
Fred.
Jones to win, but
He says if he doesn't, he'll retire.
oh, he's got to win.
But Gabby Garcia's so big, and she's pretty good. She's not bad. I don't know. This is a great jiu-jitsu matchup. Yeah. It's got people talking, and for no grappling websites to pick it up, like Flow Grappling or whatever, nobody wanted to pick it up, which I find strange because it's not like a lot of grappling matches get any kind of hype or buzz. I don't know how many people are really talking about this matchup outside of us right now, but I know people on Twitter and Instagram are buzzing about it in the jiu-jitsu world. Like, AJ, you heard about this before I brought it up on the show, right? You're in all the jiu-jitsu chats.
But I didn't think it was finalized. And to be honest, when you're looking at Gabby Garcia, you're not looking at just a good grappler. She's a world-level elite grappler. She's an ADCC champion. She won 3 times in her weight class. She was an IBJJF absolute division winner. Yes, she is probably big, but there's a lot of big women. But this girl is a killer, man. And you're talking ADCC. So it's like 2 champions coming at it together. Like Fred said, in most jiu-jitsu schools around the world, guys always train with girls. And in Canada, in fact, including Corinne, I mean, she trains with guys like Fabio Hollande, Lee Villeneuve, and guys like that at that size. And she's dangerous. But, you know, when you're looking at the weight advantage of Gabby Garcia, man, she's just a beast. But, I mean, you know what? It'll be interesting, and I want to watch it. So hopefully we can watch it, Dave. When is it? This Saturday at what time?
Sunday. I don't know. They didn't say a time.
Oh, sorry, Sunday.
You got to watch their Instagram, I guess. I don't know when they're going to do it. It's like unofficial. You know, it's in a gym. It's just going to happen. But I think it's cool
it's just like a
as
regular,
hell.
yeah. I think it's cool, man.
I love it.
And you know what? They might have more than one match. I mean, depending if somebody gets tapped out right away, they might just go 3 fights. Who knows?
Why not?
Why not? I mean, who
It's
cares?
submission
who wins?
only.
Just to see some good jiu-jitsu.
Submission only in Gabby Garcia's gym, streamed on probably both their Instagrams this Sunday. That's all the information I have for you.
Yeah, that can go for a long time, because to submit someone at that level is so damn hard. It's not going to happen. If that fight could go on for 15, 20 minutes, and then maybe there's a time limit where they just end it and no one wins, it could happen. But if it's a submission only, I don't see that happening very fast. I'm thinking more like 15, 20 minutes this fight will go.
At least. I think it's going to be crazy, but that's not the big fight of the weekend. The big fight of the weekend, Francis Ngannou, Stipe Miocic, UFC 260. It is on. This card has been beaten and decimated and just destroyed by COVID and injuries and various things. We're supposed to have a featherweight title fight between Volkanovski and what's-his-face, Ortega, but it didn't happen. Yeah. Volkanovski tested positive for COVID. So that fight is going to be rescheduled. That fight's not happening. But we still have the main event, the heavyweight title fight. Everything's good. Stipe versus Francis, Saturday night. We're going to be here, 10 p.m. We're going to be doing the UFC 260 watch-along. This is a great card. I love this card.
This card is awesome, dude.
Brooklyn Lizard says, great interview. Thank you, Brooklyn Lizard. Shout out to you. Glad you enjoyed the interview with Corinne Laframboise. Check it out if you missed it. She's always great. We love Corinne on this show. We're always rooting for her. Great fighter. Great jiu-jitsu.
She's great, man.
Great person.
Jiu-jitsu, great person, man. She's been on our show before when we're on radio. People
she's likable.
Her, and you know what?
Yeah, people love Corinne.
She's likable.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what?
And she
has that French accent like Freddie there and George St. Pierre, and people love it, man. And you know what?
Like Freddie and George St. Pierre. Look at the company you keep, Fred. Corinne, George, Fred. It's good stuff.
Hey, listen, man, what do you want, man? I was going to say not
I feel like the third wheel,
Freddie
though.
Doesn't kiss his... Why, bud? It's okay, man. You're allowed to.
You're the leader. All right.
Poor Corinne, man. I got her with the cocaine thing. I don't think it'd be a good idea to be like John Jones.
Yeah, anyway, you shouldn't advise fighters to do cocaine. I think that's a bad thing. I think you shouldn't advise anyone to do cocaine.
Or Uncle Benny's wine, man.
Can we talk about Stipe and Francis?
Yeah, let's get back to Stipe, man. Is this crazy? It's going to happen, man. It's going to happen.
Okay, so
far,
Stipe is 38 years old. He is the heavyweight champion of the world. He's one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Is he the greatest? It's up for debate, maybe for another time. He's definitely up there. He's up there.
Up there, man.
He beat Verdum to win the title. He defended against Overeem, defended against JDS, and then defended against Francis. Beat Francis by decision in January 2018, and that was the record-breaking consecutive title defenses for a UFC heavyweight with 3. Nobody has ever defended the UFC heavyweight title more than Stipe. No one had ever defended it prior to Stipe more than twice. Stipe defended it 3 times. That just shows how hard it is to stay on top of the heavyweight division. And then in his very next fight, he lost it to Daniel Cormier. Shows you how hard it is to stay on top of the heavyweight division. And then he fought Daniel Cormier again. So Stipe, since Stipe hasn't fought anybody not named Daniel Cormier or Francis Ngannou since 2017. He's fought 2 guys over 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah. Thank you, Fred.
And the last 3 years, the same guy. When you think about it, 3 years of fighting Daniel Cormier.
Yeah. He spent the past 3 years fighting Daniel Cormier. He beat him in the last 2 fights. He lost the first time by knockout in the first round. He TKO'd him in the 4th in August 2019, and then he beat him by decision in August 2020. And here comes the rematch with Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou is a monster. He's got all the heavyweight power. He is maybe the most devastating knockout artist we've ever seen in the UFC. When he lost to Stipe, it seems like he lost himself for a moment. He fought Derek Lewis later that year, lost by decision. But since then, he's been back to smashing Machine Francis, smashing Curtis Blades, smashing Ken Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos, and most recently, Jairzinho Rosenstrike. Francis,
and if you look at those four,
sorry, Dave, amazing. Go ahead.
If you look at those 4-fight winning streak, like if you look at those knockouts, they're not like rounds. We're talking seconds, and you're looking at the first fight by 45 seconds, another one by 26 seconds, another one by 71 seconds, and the last one by 20 seconds. I mean, no one gets out of the first round with this guy, which is incredible. But I mean,
Stipe does.
Stipe
does. Yeah, Stipe did. That's the only thing. But this is a different Ngannou at the time, because ever since Ngannou has stopped like trying to sort of wrestle like he did with Stipe the first time, it doesn't work. Ngannou went to what he does best, just taking people's heads off, and that works. You can't play that game, because if he tries to wrestle with Stipe from that first fight,
so you're telling me
there was no. What?
You're telling me it was Ngannou's choice that there was going to be wrestling in that fight? Stipe imposed that.
Not at all.
What can Ngannou do any different to stop? I don't know. I've been saying since the matchup has been announced, I've been saying Stipe's going to win, and I'm going to go with Stipe, probably by decision again, simply because he dominated that first fight. Like first fight wasn't even close at all. Like, so I don't know. I don't buy into the Ngannou wasn't ready or whatever.
Fred,
and how much better can he be since that first fight?
But Fred,
I'm going to tell you something. Can I say something, Dave?
Yeah.
Out of that first fight, you're going up against Stipe, who is all wrestling, all top control, all power, man. And you got a guy like Ngannou, who's just a big man, lots of muscles. When you got these heavyweights that are putting pressure on you, and wrestling is his game, you got to have like that coaching to be able to back it up. And believe it or not, in his first fight, there was not one guy in his corner that had any wrestling or jiu-jitsu coaching or to the level to be able to say what to do against a guy like Stipe. He had no grapplers in his corner. How are you going to be able to defend yourself against a guy like Stipe? And now we're coming into 2021. It's a different game. He knew the mistake he did. You can't wrestle a guy like Stipe. You can't go the distance. But what Ngannou does good is to destroy people in the first rounds. And that's what he's got to stick to. And he knows that. He's got a lot better coaching. There's no doubt about it.
I disagree with both of you guys.
Okay.
I think
who's gonna win? Herb Dean?
No, I think Francis is gonna win, but I think that Francis tried to finish Stipe a little bit too much. He rushed for the finish a little too much in the first round. And if you watch that fight, which I did this week, Francis was done after the first round. He gassed himself out, chasing the knockout, and he was absolutely finished. And he realizes that he has to pace himself a little bit more and not chase that knockout. Now, will he be able to make it past the first round and still have any kind of cardio? We'll see. I mean, that hasn't really been tested. Like AJ said, he's been smashing opponents within the first couple of minutes, seconds of his fights here. He's won 4 straight fights since the Derek Lewis loss, and all of those fights have ended within the first minute and a half. No fight that he's had in the past 4 fights since 2018 has lasted over 71 seconds. 71 seconds against Junior Dos Santos is the longest fight he's had since the Derek Lewis fight. However,
so
Fred,
you think he's going to pace himself now?
Well, I think
he's
he needs
winning
to.
Quick, so
yeah, but I understand. But Fred, I gotta take issue with you saying, "Oh, I don't buy that he wasn't prepared for Stipe," because he fought Alistair Overeem in December and then fought Stipe in January. Like, you can't fight Stipe and have a month preparation for him off a fight. Like, that's not how you fight Stipe. You got to prepare for Stipe. You got a game plan for Stipe. You got to have a training camp specifically for Stipe. And he was, flying back and forth from, Vegas to France in that month that he had. He had 4 weeks to prepare for Stipe Miocic. That's not enough time to prepare for Stipe. Will he be able to beat Stipe on Saturday night? I'm not sure. I think he probably will be, but I don't think that he did have adequate time to prepare for Stipe when they fought the first time. And I think that if you deny that, I think you're being a little disingenuous here, Fred, because come on, man. Do you really think a month is long enough to prepare for Stipe? Like, it's not enough.
I would have to go back to listen to exactly what I said, because what I'm saying about Francis is that he got dominated so much that I don't care how much time he has. Like, to me, Stipe was clearly the better fighter. It has nothing to do with the last fight. So I don't see him destroying between him and Stipe. For me, when I watched that first fight, Stipe's clearly the better fighter, had the better game plan, had executed better, won the striking, won the wrestling, won everything.
Yeah.
Cardio.
I agree.
Like, I'm not convinced. If this goes past the first round, I'm not convinced it's any different. Like, you say Ngannou needs to pace himself, and you're probably right. But at the same time, if this goes into round 2 or 3, I think Stipe imposes himself.
I think Ngannou's takedown defense is going to be better this time around.
Yeah.
I think his takedown defense is going to be better. I think he's going to be better prepared. I think he's going to try not to gas himself out. I think his cardio is going to be better. I think he's going to come in better shape. I think he's a much better MMA fighter now than he was because of the years of training. Now, I still think Stipe Miocic is the better fighter. I agree with you, but at the same time, we've seen Stipe get his lights put out, and I don't think you could put Francis's lights out right now. I think Stipe, as powerful as he is, I don't think he's got what it takes to put a man like Francis Ngannou down, and I think that's what's going to be the issue here. I think Stipe is going to get hit, and he's going to go down because Francis can put your lights out with one punch, and, you know, he almost did it to Stipe when they fought the first time. He wasn't able to put him away, but he hit him, and he rocked him, and then in Stipe's next fight, after taking all that punishment, he got knocked out in the first round. Now, did Daniel Cormier knock out Stipe? Yes. But did the accumulation of damage from the Ngannou fight have an impact? You know, we'll never know, but I think it may have. So I think that there's something there with Francis Ngannou, and he's a guy, if you know his story, like this guy tried to, you know, his refugee story, tried to escape Cameroon and tried to make the passage over to Europe and tried to get in, and it was not easy. It was not the first time he goes in and it's done. Like, the journey had to be repeated over and over again in a Jeep with like 20 other people all stuffed in. Horrible conditions, horrible things that Francis Ngannou has had to go through in his life to get to this point. This guy is he's a different type of person. It's a different mentality, and he will not quit. He will not give up. And I think it's just his time. I don't know. There's something about this guy. He's a special character, and I feel like now is his time. He's 34 years old. Stipe is 38. When they fought the first time, Stipe was, you know, a little bit younger. He was, 2018? I can't do the math whatsoever tonight. 4 years ago, 34.
Like, the third fight against Cormier is the one where Stipe looked the best out of the three. So Stipe has looked good recently. And you sing a lot of praise of Ngannou, and people were doing that before that first match. And I watched the countdown, and they put a little, like, they talked about, like, maybe his head was a little too bloated, believed a little bit too much of his hype, and he got outclassed by Stipe. He wasn't ready. So hopefully this time he's prepared, as you say. He has more time and all that, because I don't know, like, excellent power. At some point, the power can't be all, man. Stipe could stop that power with technique and win like he did the last time. I still believe in Stipe.
I'll give you some stats here, Fred.
No doubt about it.
I want to give you a stat here that I found really interesting as far as heavyweight fights. I tweeted this out earlier this week, but in heavyweight fights, the guy who wins, or heavyweight title fights, like big heavyweight fights, the guy who wins the first fight usually loses the second. Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos. JDS beat Cain the first time. Second fight, Cain wins. Cain wins the third fight. Stipe and DC. DC won the first one. Stipe won the second one. Stipe won the third one. Andre Arlovsky, even way back. Arlovsky beat Tim Sylvia in their first fight for the heavyweight title. Then Sylvia came back and beat him in fights 2 and 3. Brock Lesnar, he lost to Frank Mir, came back and beat him. Not to say that Stipe beating Francis once can happen again. Randy Couture beat Pedro Hizzo back at UFC 31 and then beat him again at UFC 34 for the heavyweight title. So it's been done, but not for a very long
but
time.
Connor as well. Connor as well. And actually,
I'm talking about heavyweights.
Heavyweight.
I'm talking about
yeah,
heavyweights.
But when you're I'm
it's a
talking
different
about
animal,
like,
heavyweights.
I know. Just you're giving me hope that Connor has a chance. So let's hope that pans out, man. Thanks, Dave. You made my day, man.
That doesn't actually. I shouldn't be giving you hope that Connor has a chance because what I said was usually the guy that wins the first one doesn't win the second or the third. Connor won the first one with Dustin Poirier, and he lost the second. He'll probably lose the third then by that
true.
logic.
He did have that first. You're
Good
right.
job.
You're right. I forgot
Good job,
his first
AJ.
fight. You're right. Okay. I take it back.
Take it back. Take it all back.
I'll take it
so,
back.
Fred is not convinced,
But-
though. I think Fred is still going with Stipe. And it's a very
Of
close
course.
fight, and I could see it going Stipe's way. And I've been going back and forth on this. Stipe right now is a slight underdog, plus 110. Francis Ngannou minus 130, the favorite. Which, Stipe is often the underdog in these fights that he winds up winning.
But as a champ, is the first time. I mean, think about it.
Huh?
I as a champion, as a current champion, to be the underdog.
It happens.
I'm not sure. And
It
you know what? I
happens to
kind of
Stipe.
agree with Freddie in some sense because I was listening to like Javier Mendez, and he said it, man. If Stipe keeps to his game plan that he did the last time, he's gonna win this fight. And not to take away, like Ngannou is like a different fighter today for sure. But if Stipe does what he does, is by wrestling, he's going to win. But the thing is that Ngannou knows that he's going to wrestle. The thing is that in the wrestling game, like Javier said, which made a lot of sense, if you just focus on the wrestling aspect, try to shoot that single, try to shoot that double in a fight at that level, you're going to lose. You need to stand up. You need to strike. You need to open up to be able to get those singles. So, when you're talking about like striking and whatnot, I'm looking at like stats, and if you're looking overall at the accuracy of striking to Stipe to Ngannou, you got 52% for Stipe and only 37% for Ngannou. So when you look at the boxing levels, there's no doubt about it. Stipe can outbox Ngannou. The only thing is, can Stipe's jaw, that chin, be able to hold up? Because I don't think it's going to go into the third round. I don't think it's going to the fourth. It's not going to a decision this fight. The only way Ngannou's going to win is within the first and second round. He's going for the kill because his cardio is way, way better. But a man that big, if Stipe does what he does and gets him to the ground and it goes past the third, I'm going with Freddie. Stipe is going to win.
You can't have it both ways.
The first one.
I know, man, but this is such a hard fight to call. The first two rounds
calling it.
is where I
I'm
think
calling
Ngannou
it.
is going to win.
Francis, knockout, round 1. Calling it. Dave's pick.
That's a big statement, man. Yeah, it could happen, But let's not forget, Stipe, man, is a very, very, very smart fighter, man.
Who's got more
I don't know,
power,
man.
Daniel Cormier or Francis Ngannou?
Yeah, no doubt about it, Ngannou.
Ngannou.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you something. The difference between the
Can
two
happen.
is this.
Doesn't mean he'll
is that,
connect.
is that,
I know, Fred.
But listen, but you got two guys that are high level wrestlers, Stipe and Cormier. So when they're fighting, they're not fighting at the same level like a guy like Ngannou who's coming out to take your head off. That's what he wants to do. He wants to knock you out, and that's his strong point. That's his money maker. He's not worried about wrestling. So when you're fighting like Stipe against Cormier, a weird TKO can happen, man. It could happen because they're really focused like on the defensive strategies of the wrestling game, and it opens up for a possible knockout. And it could go the distance, and things can happen. But with Ngannou, man, he can't go the distance. I don't even think now in 2021, on Saturday's fight, he can go the distance. But like I said,
was that
it's a really
stat
tough
earlier?
one for me.
Dave, was that stat
Sorry?
about rematch only in championship fights? 'Cause
Yeah.
Stipe won the rematch against JDS, so
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
It's
Stipe could
championships.
win rematches after.
Yeah,
losing.
Stipe can win rematches for sure. He won the rematch after the DC fight, but he doesn't win rematches when he wins the first fight, Fred. That's never happened.
Yeah,
He's
he won
never
the
had.
second against. He won the second against Cormier and the third. So
Yeah, but he lost the first. I'm saying he hasn't beat a guy and then fought him again.
The third was the rematch for the second, so he did win
how
a
could you
rematch
forget
after
about
winning.
the first? You can't forget about the first fight, Fred. All
I'm
right,
just
it
saying
happened.
He won a rematch after winning.
Yes, well, that I'm not disputing, but the stat was when you win the first fight in a big heavyweight matchup, in a heavyweight title fight, you tend to lose the second one and then the third one. I'm saying just because Stipe won the first doesn't mean he'll beat Francis every time they fight. But I do agree that I think Stipe is the more well-rounded fighter. I think he's the better fighter right now. But I do think that he can be hit and put down just like anybody else, and Francis is so dangerous. I just think it's his time. So I'm going with Francis Ngannou for the knockout. Freddie is going with Stipe Miocic, I think by decision. You going with Stipe by decision? Yep. He's not going to finish
50-43.
Right? Yeah. AJ, give me a pick.
Man,
no, don't give me bullshit. Just give me an answer.
Man, it's not bullshit, man.
I know it's hard, but
bullshit.
Sometimes life is hard. I want you to challenge yourself.
I know, man. Look, and I've been debating this for a while now. Who is going to take it? And you're both right. Freddie's absolutely right. Super Dave Simon is absolutely right. Javier Mendez is absolutely right. If Stipe plays that same game like he did the last time, he's going to win. The only difference is that Ngannou now is a much different fighter, man. This guy is on a winning streak. He's taking out people in that first round, and that's what he's going to go after. He was
doing that before the first fight.
He was. You're absolutely right. But you know what? You live and learn like every fighter has. But as Dave said, man, there's so much behind Ngannou, man. He has a lot on his shoulders and a lot of responsibility. He's doing so much for his community. This guy's out there to win, and he wants to be the African champion, man. When you think about African champions, I always think about Muhammad Ali going to Africa and fighting.
Kamaru Usman.
Now you got Kamaru Usman, but I'm talking heavyweight, man. And you know what?
Israel
I'm looking at guys that people remember. Ngannou, man. Ngannou is going to make a statement.
But
yeah.
I know, but in Africa,
AJ, did you give me a pick?
Boomba way all the way, man.
Angelo gave me a pick. Angelo gave me a pick. He says, I like Miocic. He's going with Stipe. Fred's going with Stipe. I'm going with Francis. AJ's going with We got to give it to him. Dave's right. Fred's right. Give me a pick. Give me a pick.
Okay. I think it's going to be a new champion. I think Ngannou's going to knock out Stipe.
Team
yes.
Dave? Freddie doesn't like it.
It's so hard because it's such a tough one for me to go against because Miocic is awesome, man. Ngannou is awesome. But, you know what? Yeah. You're right. It's 38 years old in a heavyweight division. 38 is very different than a regular 38-year-old, Especially a guy like Stipe who's been in the game so long. And, I feel bad, but
Ngannou's 34.
is going to win him. He's not that much older, but it is but in heavyweight statistics, that's your prime, man. And you know what? This is his prime. He's going to be like Stipe. He's going to be there for 4 more years, and then we're going to see a new heavyweight come. Maybe even earlier. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys, man. Cyril Gane is right there knocking on the door at 29 years old. So
John Jones is coming too.
Guys.
Don't forget about John Jones. Yeah. He's coming. He's coming.
Okay, Dave.
Patrick C. Hamilton says Stipe. Patrick C. Hamilton, Angelo, Johnny North says, I think Fred got this. A lot of people on the chat are going with Fred. Very few nobody really going with Francis on the chat. But I'm going with Francis, and AJ's going with Francis. So, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, but wait. But hold on a sec.
I'm
going with Francis, but I said.
You can't. No, I don't care what you say. You're done.
But
You're done. We're moving on to the next fight. Next fight, motherfucker.
Ah, come on.
Tyron Woodley taking on Vicente Luque.
The King.
What?
King, man.
Oh, AJ's glitching out. Hey, Fred, what's going on? AJ, you're glitching.
Again?
Yeah, AJ? What's the matter?
No.
AJ's internet connection's all crappy. AJ, Vicente Luque, Tyron Woodley in the co-main event. Woodley coming in right now, the underdog, plus 200. Luque minus 250, the favorite. You could bet with us over at bet99.com. Go to bet99.com. Use that promo code ringside when you sign up. They'll give you a matching bonus, an equal, what do they call it? Matching bonus, deposit bonus up to $600 when you sign up. So you put in up to $600, and they will match that money in your account when you use the promo code ringside. Matching deposit. Thank you. Thank you, production team. Take advantage of the matching deposit over at bet99.com, up to $600 when you use that promo code ringside. And Tyron Woodley right now, a plus 200 underdog. Vicente and Luque, minus 250, the favorite. Woodley is the former welterweight champion of the world. He's 38 years old. He's lost 3 in a row, losing to Colby Covington, Gilbert Burns, and Kamaru Usman. Takes on Vicente Luque, 29 years of age. He's won 2 in a row, stopping Randy Brown in his last fight. He's got good power. He's a strong welterweight, is Vicente Luque. Good leg kicks, very, very dangerous in the first round. But, he stepped up in competition before. He fought Wonder Boy in 2019, pretty much got beat to shit in that fight. Wonder Boy looked amazing there. So I'm not too sure about...
Dave.
Yeah, but did you see that fight? Wonder Boy fucked him up. And this is a 3-round fight, and I think Tyron Woodley's going to pull it off. I think this is where Woodley shows that he's still a solid welterweight. He's fought some of the best in the world, and he's beat a lot of them. And, yeah, he's lost 3 in a row, but look at who he's losing to. Kamaru Usman by decision, Gilbert Burns by decision, and then a rib injury in the 5th stopped the fight with Colby Covington. And he has not looked great in his past couple of fights, but...
No, terrible. Not just great.
But a lot of it has to do with his opponents, man. His opponents are very good. So, I don't know. I feel like Woodley has a good shot here. I'm not super impressed with what I've seen from Vicente Luque. He might prove me wrong on Saturday, but I think Tyron Woodley, plus 200, there's value there. I think he's going to pull off the upset. I think he's going to do enough to win 2 rounds out of Vicente Luque. I think he's going to take 2 rounds from him.
Dave, did you see the stats on this? Out of 71 minutes of fighting for Tyron, okay, he's only thrown 96 significant strikes in 71 minutes. You're not going to win if you don't fight. You're not going to win if you don't engage. And Vincent Luque, when you look at this guy, yeah, he lost to Thompson, but when you look at his last, he's got 11 of his last 12 wins by stoppage. This guy is vicious. This guy is mean. So if Woodley can't kick it up, his past performance in 71 minutes, man, means one thing. He's going to get knocked out. And it's too bad because this will probably be like Tyron's last fight. It's going to be the end of Woodley, honestly. I think it's, his time has come. And you're fighting a guy who's super aggressive. So I don't see this going any other way.
I'm surprised you think he's going to get knocked out. I don't think he's going to get knocked out at all. I mean, I think he might lose, but I don't think he's going to get knocked out.
Well, you know what? Because it's 3 rounds. So, you know what? When you look at 3 rounds, yeah,
Go ahead,
maybe
Freddie.
not knocked out, but maybe win by decision.
I was going to say, I think both of you guys are going to like what I'm going to say because I'm going to say I completely agree with Dave's assessment. But with that said, I'm going to pick with AJ and I'm going to pick Luque. Because Dave is right. There's some value on Woodley at 200. He's had some tough recent fights. He lost them all. Luque hasn't been tested as much. Like his level of competition is not the same level as Woodley. But I'm still going to go with Luque. I'm not touching this as on a betting aspect. I wouldn't bet on this. But I think Luque is going to win. And by decision, I'm going to go. But hey, if you feel like Woodley has a chance, put a little money on him. Plus 200, he does have a chance in this fight. Like I don't think Tyron Woodley is a sure loss here. I think he does have a chance to win, but he hasn't looked good in recent years because unfortunately his last win is in 2018. It's been a little while, and all 3 fights being against top level competition, but he hasn't looked good at all in any of those 3 fights. So I'm gonna go with Luque. But I'm not touching it as far as a betting.
Patrick C. Hamilton wants to know, drop in the super chat, should I use AJ or Dave's picks? Dave's picks. Team Dave. You know the team, Patrick.
You want money? Go with AJ, man.
Patrick dropping that
Or
super
Freddie at this
chat.
point.
We had a wild super chat battle on Sunday night for the WWE Fastlane show.
I saw that, man.
Super
What
chat
the hell happened, man?
battle, super battle. It was a super battle. Patrick almost won, but Angelo came through in the clutch. Angelo killed it. It was quite a battle on the Fastlane post show. Go with Team Dave, Patrick. Team Dave. You know about Team Dave.
We're
aggressive.
A good parlay.
We bark.
I'm gonna give you a good parlay.
Uh-oh.
I won the last time. Last week, we had some issues, so we didn't post our parlays, and plus mine had Gillespie in it, so that fight got canceled. So last week doesn't count. But 2 weeks ago, who won? Who won? Fred won.
Freddie, man. Freddie's on fire, man.
I don't even want to talk about last week.
Almeida.
Stipe and Almeida. Whoa.
Almeida? Seriously? Freddie? No.
Interesting.
No.
Freddie going with Freddie's parlay on, and we're going to get to this Sean O'Malley, Thomas Almeida fight. Freddie already given you his pick. He's going with Stipe at plus 110. He's going with Thomas Almeida plus 255. That's a plus 646. That'll give you 20. We'll score you $149.10 over at bet99.com. So if you're going with Freddie's parlay, you're going with Thomas Almeida and Stipe Miocic. Good God Almighty, that's a big parlay.
Freddie, I don't know how you're going with that, man. Because if you look at Almeida, he's lost his last 3 fights, man. He hasn't been the same since 2016 when Cody destroyed him. So, man, if Almeida can pull that off against O'Malley, which I think is not going to happen, I tip my hat to you, man. I'm going to wear Freddie is right T-shirt next week or in 2 weeks because I got to get it made.
Yeah,
but you know what?
Sean O'Malley's looks really good.
Happening.
Sean O'Malley's looks really good. I'm picking him to win his fight. I think he wins.
Listen,
he lost his last fight.
Yeah, but do you remember what happened in his last fight, Fred? Do you remember how he lost?
He wasn't really injured in the end.
He wasn't?
No, he was injured.
No,
he was injured.
Wasn't it his knee or something like that? And after that, the MRI came back negative.
Something wrong with his foot, right?
It was his foot or whatever.
Dude, did you see that foot? Yeah. It was the blood that rushed down to his foot. He looked like a freaking potato foot.
From the calf kick.
You know what? Even O'Malley from the calf kick. Imagine a calf kick took out, made his foot balloon up. It was crazy. And even O'Malley goes, I didn't lose that fight, Kind of like what AJ was saying.
Exactly.
But the thing is that he's right.
He did.
He did lose. But you know what? If that didn't happen with that calf kick, it would have been a different story because he was looking good, man. But you know what? Look, he has a loss, but I don't think it's going to be it's not going to be the same result. There's no way Almeida's going to end up winning this.
Yeah, I think O'Malley is going to win. I think O'Malley wins. Almeida's got power, though. Almeida is dangerous, but I just, he's been knocked out a few times. O'Malley's big, rangy. I think he's going to win this fight. I think he's going to knock out Almeida. I've got O'Malley in this one. I think so, too.
Yeah. He's athletic, man. He has such a long range. He pushes the pace. And the thing I was trying to say is Almeida is a guy who gets hit a lot. His defense is terrible, and he's coming up against O'Malley, who's gonna want to make a point from the last fight, which really didn't go his way and it sucked, But there's no way, man. There's no way.
Yeah,
that's my.
Whose kid is screaming?
Well, that's mine. That's me. You can hear that. Right. Yeah, he's running wild. I don't know what's going on with him.
The boss wants to come in, man.
Yeah, he was in here before. Almeida, Fred, I'm sorry. I don't have it. I got Sean O'Malley, but, I see why you wouldn't want to pick Sean O'Malley. I don't really like picking Sean O'Malley. There's something about him I just don't really like.
I mean,
he's kind of just a hype train, man.
Almeida, there's some value there.
Yeah, there is value in I wouldn't bet on Sean O'Malley because there's absolutely no value in...
There's more value in Almeida than Woodley.
Well, I disagree there, but I'm not gonna. I don't think I'd bet on either of those fights. I haven't showed you Dave's parlay, okay? Team Dave's parlay is about to be revealed, Fred. You just wait. You just wait for Team Dave. Team Dave's coming at you, okay? Sean O'Malley.
We'll be posting.
Minus
we'll be posting that
333.
tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be posting it on all the social media at Ringside Report on all the things, Instagram, Twitter. Sean O'Malley minus 333, the favorite. Almeida plus 255 the dog. I would not put any kind of money on O'Malley at that price. And Almeida, I think there is value there, but I don't think he's going to win, so I wouldn't bet on him because I just don't believe in him.
Well, on a long parlay, why not put O'Malley? It's like I don't see him losing this fight at all. There's not going to be a disqualification. There's not going to be no eye pokes. There's going to be none of that bullshit that's been happening lately. O'Malley's going to knock this guy out.
Brooklyn Lizard saying AJ and Fred. Is she saying, like, pick AJ and Fred's picks and not Team Dave? I don't know about that. Brooklyn Lizard, Team Dave. Okay? You got to know about the Team Dave. All right. Other fights here on this card. Here comes Dave's lock of the night. It is Miranda Maverick. She is going to come in and beat Jillian Robertson. Jillian Robertson has good jiu-jitsu. She's good off her back. She's got a good arm bar. But as long as Miranda watches out for that and doesn't get tapped when she's on top, raining down blows, she's got this fight. She's got very good Muay Thai, does Miranda Maverick. This is going to be her second fight in the UFC. The last fight, she busted her opponent's nose so badly she couldn't even continue past the first round. The doctor stopped it. Miranda's got good takedown defense. She's got a good rear naked choke when she needs it. She is an absolute monster. What I like about her, she's a very smart fighter as well. She's studying to get her PhD at the same time as being a UFC fighter. She is just 23 years of age. I am a big fan of Miranda Mavericks. I think she's going to be a future star in the women's flyweight division, and I think she's going to go in there and put a beating on Jillian Robertson. I think Robertson has the edge in jiu-jitsu, but everywhere else, strength, power, striking, wrestling, I think Miranda has the advantage. She can take this fight wherever she wants it. She is my lock of the night. I watched a lot of Miranda Maverick and Jillian Robertson fights leading into this preview show, and I am very confident, confident in Miranda Maverick. Lock of the night. This
girl at one point, years back, like, I don't know if it was in Invicta or whatnot, she fought like 3 times in one night. Like, she's just a beast, man. If anybody could be fighting 3 times in one night, like those old school, like, tournaments, at that young of an age, and she's only 23 years old.
And she won.
This girl, and she won. So, you know what? Anybody who could do, like, old school 3 fights in a night at 20-something years old, and being 23 today, man, you're right. As a top prospect goes, I think you're absolutely right on this. I think this is a good lock, and I'm totally behind you on this. And not to take away from Robertson, like you said, she's like a BJJ wizard, man. But that's not enough against like this killer that's coming at 23 years old. Put money on her, man.
There you go. And that's Dave's parlay. We're going to go with Dave's parlay here in a moment. We're going with Miranda Maverick. We're going with Francis Ngannou. We're putting down 20 to get us 55.68 at a plus 178. It's not a ton of value. It's not like Freddie's parlay with the dogs, but Freddie's going with that. This is Dave's parlay. Let's see it. There it is. Miranda Maverick, minus 167. Francis Ngannou, minus 135. You're putting 20 down, plus 178 to win 55. Double your money, Freddie, and then some.
Freddie, are you going with Maverick or Robertson on this?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll follow Dave's lock, man. I can't go against that. I'll go with Miranda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Freddie's on Team Dave now. Freddie, yeah.
Listen, Freddie, you took Woodley, right? And Dave took Luque, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't take Woodley. I took Luque. I said I agreed with Dave's assessment, but I was picking like you, AJ. So I'm taking Luque.
So it's Dave that took Woodley.
Yeah.
Just writing it down, man. I want to make sure when I post these things. You know?
Just to recap for you, AJ, and everybody else, I got Ngannou, I got Woodley, I got O'Malley, I got Miranda Maverick, and here the other fight, Kama Worthy and Malarkey. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced either way, but if I had to pick, I'd go with Malarkey. But I don't really like this fight, and I'm not really sure.
26 years old, Malarkey, man.
So
you're looking for his first win under the UFC banner.
Yeah.
He lost back in Australia against Alexander Volkanovski. He has good wrestling, good kickboxer, but he has awful strike defense from what I gathered from this guy. So, whew. And you're looking at Kama Worthy, who's been basically 11 of his last 12 victories have come by stoppage. So chances are you want to go that way. You want to go with the Worthy because it's going to be worthy for your bank.
Yeah, all right. I'll go with Kama Worthy. I don't disagree with that. I'm not sure. That's a tough one. I wouldn't bet on that fight.
Do I have to care about this fight?
No, you don't. We can skip it. Let's go to the next one.
Not really.
Alonzo Menifield's taking on Fabio Charant. This was supposed to be William Knight versus Alonzo Menifield. I was going to go with William Knight for the win, but now that Knight has COVID and Charant steps in on short notice, I don't really know. We have Charant. Charant is
UFC debut, you know?
Yeah, so. I think he's the underdog coming in, a pretty big underdog. I saw him at a plus 235, Menifield minus 275. That makes sense. Menifield is not bad. I thought he was going to get tapped by William Knight, but I think he probably beats Fabio Charant. I don't know too much about Charant, though.
Yeah. He's just coming in like on extreme, short notice, so he's unknown. It's a tough one to pick, you know. So I'd probably stay away from that one.
Yeah. All right. Any other fights on this card you guys are interested in? I want
to hear you say Nurmagomedov. I want to hear Dave say Modestas Bukauskas because I know he has the energy for that.
Modestas Bukauskas. Yeah, I'm betting against him because I remember last time when I sang the song and then I saw him fight and he was not that good. So I'm going to go with Michał Oleksiejczuk. I have no idea how to pronounce this guy's name. He's from Poland. He's coming off 2 straight submission losses, but I think he'll beat Modestas Bukauskas because I'm not too impressed with what I saw from Modestas Bukauskas.
Yeah, but he had a bad fight, Dave. But you know what?
It was a bad fight.
I think it's going to be a different... It was a bad fight because you're singing of Modesta. That was funny, man. But when Modesta went down, man, I was just thinking of you screaming that name over and over, man. But you know what? I think he's going to come through on this one.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going with Modestas on this one.
All right, I'm going to go with the other guy because I don't trust Modestas.
I don't care.
There's a guy called Abu Bakar Nurmagomedov. I'm sure he's related to Khabib in some way.
He's a blood cousin. No, he's a cousin.
A blood cousin.
Actual cousin.
Blood cousin. Yeah. He's facing Jared Gooden. He's not as good as Khabib, though. The guy's 15-3. He lost his last fight by submission. He's lost a couple fights here. He lost his UFC debut, actually, by submission in the very first round. So, I don't know. I don't know about this guy, about betting on him. I think he's a big favorite because his last name is Nurmagomedov, minus 240. Gooden, plus 200. I don't know much about Jared Gooden, but I'd say he probably loses here to Nurmagomedov because the guy's name is Nurmagomedov. But I'm more interested in the Marc-Andre Barriault Abu Azaitar fight. Marc-Andre Barriault coming off a win that was turned into a no contest. He finished Oscar Picota, but then it was turned into a no contest after Barriault tested positive for Osterine. He had a little deal with USADA, but now he's back. He had lost 3 in a row in the UFC to some tough guys, all by decision. I think Barriault is very good. He's from Quebec. He's got very powerful hands, very strong guy, knockout power. His opponent, Abu Azaitar, is dangerous, though. We can't sleep on this guy. He hasn't lost in quite some time. He won his UFC debut by decision over Vitor Miranda back in 2018. He hasn't fought since then, which is kind of weird. He's been off for a long time. He's
coming off a drug suspension as well, Dave.
Yeah, his brother's in the UFC too, Ottoman Azaitar. But this guy hasn't lost since 2012, so he's on quite a win streak. He is the slight underdog. Azaitar is the dog here, plus something. 105. Marc-Andre Barriault minus 125, the favorite. I'm going to go with Barriault, the power bar.
Yeah.
I think he's going to win this fight. This is the type of fight
he's younger.
It's a good fight
He's
for
younger.
him. It's a good style. You know, these guys. Azaitar likes to fight a very similar style to Barrio, and I think that's going to play in Barrio's favor because he's very good at it, very tough to put down. Like, when he loses by decision. He's not getting knocked out. I think he's going to beat Azaitar. I think it's going to go 3 rounds, though. I got Barrio winning by decision. AJ?
Sounds good.
It sounds good, too, because if you look at it, I mean, both of these guys are coming off drug suspensions. Barrio, man, is younger, stronger, and he has better striking. You're right. He's not going to get knocked out. He's going to push the pace. But when you look at, what's his name? Abu, man, since 2018 he hasn't fought. We're in 2021, man. That's 3 years later. Yeah. I don't think it's going to go to a decision. I think it's going to be a stoppage. I think Barrio's going to pummel this guy. Bad.
I hope so.
I think that's a. I think it's going to be that. You're looking at a guy who's been active, a guy who's young, who's, like you said, he goes the distance. This guy is super hungry, and you know what? He had to come out and apologize for what happened with his drug results. You know, he posted that like letter to like everybody. You know, he's coming out to prove something. He wants to be in the UFC, and he's going to make a statement on this. So as a parlay goes, I'm picking Barrio. Power bar all the way, man.
Okay,
Level
so
1,
let's see. What is your parlay? Because mine is.
I don't want to give it right now.
Mine is Maverick and Ngannou. No, me and Fred gave it right now. You're not going to give a parlay right now. You're not going to give us a couple fights together that we can bet on.
Okay, look.
Showtime.
I'm going to go with Marc-Andre Barrio.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Kama Worthy. I'm going to go with Miranda Maverick, which I think is your pick. I don't go with I'm going to go with more of a distance. I'm going to take Sean O'Malley. I'm going to take Vincent Luque.
Oh, my God.
And then I'm going to go with Ngannou. So
that's
I'm going
a massive
with
parlay.
A long parlay. Yeah, I always go with massive parlays. I like the outcomes because if it does pay off, it pays off big. So if you bet99.com and you go with that.
So that is.
Show the money, man.
There it is.
Show the money. Dave, did you get it? You already did it?
Yeah, look. There's Marc-Andre Barrio, Kama Worthy, Miranda Maverick, Sean O'Malley, Vicente Luque, and Francis Ngannou. $20 plus 15.05 gets you $320.98. That is a 6-fight parlay on AJ's ticket for you. Freddie and I giving you 2-fight parlays. AJ giving you a 6-fight parlay.
Look, man, I'm going to tell you something. Listen, sometimes, it comes out. There was only one time when I gave my long parlay to Muscles Marco, and I say this story all the time, where he put, I forgot how much, it was like $20, and he was able to win close to like $400,000.
Yeah.
And that night, Johnny North, I think, was there that night. And,
he didn't.
But he lost on that second to last fight. But between the first fight and the second to last, I've never seen a guy smoke so many cigarettes in my life. He was sweating. He was going back and forth. He was panicking. He was like hugging me. He was going wild. But I kept telling him, I'm like, you know what? Anything could happen. And you know what? The unfortunate happened. And you know what? Okay. It almost looked like it was going to win. And you know what? That second to last, we lost. But the last fight we won. So I think we had like 7 fights, and we pulled off 6 out of 7. So, good man today. But now, unfortunately, he has yellow teeth.
AJ, Patrick C. Hamilton wants to know, will this be on your Facebook page? AJ, when you post the parlays, put it on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook, right? On all the Ringside Report social medias?
Yes. They go on all that, yeah.
They'll be on all the things. All the things. What happened last weekend to Kevin Holland, exactly? He lost to Derek Brunson by decision. A lot of people were picking him to win. I thought he was going to win by knockout. He looked good in moments, but a lot of the time he spent talking to Khabib, who was watching the fight. He was doing more talking and kind of showboating than actual fighting, and it was a very strange, disappointing performance, and Kevin Holland even seems a little disappointed with it. He did some interviews this week and said he felt like he let his team down. He let people that believed in him down. And he let me down because I had money on him to win by knockout. And he lost somehow. And there were moments where he looked like he was about to knock out Derek Brunson. And then he showed his hips and got taken down time and time again. And when he got taken down, he was trying to do this shit where he's like, oh, I'm going to land punches from my back and knock him out. And it's like, dude, that's not going to happen every time. Why not try to get back to your feet and piece him up on the feet? But he didn't do that. He fought one of the, like, I don't want to be disrespectful here to the guy, but it was one of the least intelligent performances I've ever seen in the UFC. You know what I mean? Like, he's so talented. Look, if he fought a little smarter and fought to win a little more, I think he would have won that fight easily. It was baffling because I really believe that he should have won that fight, but his head wasn't in it. I don't know what the fuck happened to Kevin Holland last weekend, but I really hope he gets his head together and becomes a better fighter in the future because he's so talented. I feel like it's going to waste a bit. I feel like it went to waste.
Dave, you know what? I was watching that fight, and it was like it kind of killed the main event. You know, like it was unfortunate. It was cringy, to be honest. I'm like, what is this, a talk show or is it a fight? And you know what, Brunson wasn't paying any attention to him. Like, he wasn't even like pumping fists at the end of the round. And Holland was just yapping away. And if most people didn't see that this guy ended his 5-fight winning streak, and like he has so much potential. But you're right, there was something not going on in his mind on that fight. Maybe he was nervous. I don't know what it is. But if you listen to him when he was going to his corner, you can hear him saying, like his coaches would be saying, like, listen, man, you got to do this and you got to do that. And he's like, yeah, I'm trying. It's like he already was defeated before the fight ended. And like, I understand there's a lot of trash talking in a lot of sports and whatnot. You know, Muhammad Ali, man, used to trash talk, but he backed it up. You know, there was a method to his madness. You know, Holland had no method, and there was a lot of madness. And that was the problem. If you're going to be able to talk and talk trash, you got to be able to back it up. And you're right. Once he was on his back, man, he was like a novice grappler. It was embarrassing, man. I've never seen a flat back like that other than a pancake. And it was not right, man, because you're coming out with so much potential that you didn't even, like, I don't know how many strikes. I mean, they're almost equivalent at the end of the fight to, like, amount of strikes thrown. That doesn't make sense. Brunson is not, like, the best-known striker where Holland is. You know what? At the end of that fight, I was, like, so nervous. Like, you know, I know he did his interview and people wanted to find out what was going on. But I'm sure Dana White was, like, pissed because a lot of people, man, got fizzled on that last fight. So
he was pissed.
Holland
he
right
left.
Now,
he walked out.
Yeah,
Dana was pissed. He walked out in the 5th round. He's like, I don't want to watch this shit anymore. It's disgusting.
I was pissed off. You were pissed off. I was watching the fight, and I'm like, it's like almost like the guy was intentionally like sabotaging his career. And I'm like, why?
It was weird.
Why,
it was
why
really
would
weird.
You do that?
And he talks, you know, he talks in his fights, and it is something he does, but this was excessive, and this was to the point of like, are you even focused on the fight? Are you paying attention to the man in front of you? He seems so enamored with the lights and the main event and Dana White and Khabib and everybody around him that he forgot that he had Derek Brunson. And he's like, yeah, I'll knock him out eventually. And that really felt like the attitude. Like in round 1, he's like, whatever, he took me down. I'll catch him. Round 2, takes him down again. Whatever, I'll catch him. I still have time. Round 3, does it again. He's like, Then in round 4, he starts to realize, he's like, shit. And then at round 5, he's like, fuck, I'm fucked here. I have dug myself into a hole that I can't dig myself out of. And that's really what it was. He was just digging himself deeper into this hole that he didn't need to be in. It was very strange, and it was totally mental. The fight game is mental a lot of the times, man. And, you know, Derek Brunson knuckled down, bit on his mouthpiece. He did what he had to do. He fought. He kept fighting. He didn't listen to the trash talk. He didn't listen to the bullshit. He said, whatever, dude, I'm going to take you down and beat your ass. And he did it. It's an excellent performance from Derek Brunson.
Sorry, Freddie. I was going to say is that there was only one shining moment out of that whole fight. And that's when Holland was talking to Khabib and getting advice from Khabib, which I was kind of surprised because he's next to Dana White. I don't know if he was commentating or whatnot. Apparently he was streaming the fight live, you know, where most people would like get like destroyed by Dana for like, you know, pirating. But that's another story in itself.
Right.
But
yeah, Khabib was streaming the fight right next to Dana. He was illegally streaming the fight on his Instagram, sitting right next to Dana White. That was crazy.
Crazy, man. Crazy. But the craziest part is that Khabib gave Holland some advice, and Kevin Holland is the only guy that's ever take Brunson down in the octagon. The only guy. So, I mean, you see, the guy is coachable. There's no doubt about it. Holland is coachable. Just that maybe he was starstruck. I don't know what the hell happened, man.
I felt
what a shame.
So bad for his coaches.
What a crazy night, man.
Could you imagine being his coach, seeing him do that, knowing how talented he is? I felt so bad for them because they were like, come on, man, just do what you're supposed to do. And he's like, whatever. Okay, Miocic
It just didn't make
says
sense.
she's coming back to the UFC. She's going to fight Marion Renault in her return fight. She signed a new 6-fight contract with the company, and she says she's coming back. She's got the style to beat Amanda Nunes, and she's going to be the champion again. So Miocic is back in the UFC. Do you believe that she has what it takes to be the world champion again?
No.
Let's see her fight, and then we'll discuss that.
We'll see. She retired, and now she's back. I don't know. Nobody's beating Amanda Nunes, but I'm happy Miocic's back because she's a big star in the division, so that's cool.
I'm happy, but I don't know if she's going to be successful. I'm going to say, like, women's MMA in the last couple of years has evolved a lot. Like, and if she hasn't been active, like, I feel there's going to... A couple of years ago, she was one of the top 5 fighters in her division for sure. Today, I'm not sure. Like, there's a lot of good fighters, and she's been inactive. So I'm happy to see her because she's a star. I don't know how much she'll be successful. It depends against who they put her. Marion Renault, I think, her first fight, they said.
Yeah.
It's a decent fight. We'll see. Like, I'm not going to pick right now, but it's not an easy fight still.
I picked Marion Renault last weekend. Didn't work out for me, buddy. Didn't work out. Antonio Tarver is out of the boxing match with Frank Mir. Bad news. Tarver is not going to box Frank Mir. That was supposed to be the co-main event of the Ben Askren, Jake Paul fight, which is coming up, by the way. It's coming up real soon. We're like 3 weeks away from this thing. April 17th.
Yeah, we're doing a watch-along for that?
Of course we're doing a watch-along for that. Are you kidding me? It's going to be the biggest event of the year.
Listen,
don't ask me who I'm going to have on. Talk to me after the show about who we're having on. Get the fuck out of here.
I want to see from the boxing world what they think after that fight.
Antonio Tarver is out of his boxing match with Frank Mir because he can't meet the requirements to get licensed to fight in the state of Georgia. He can't get a license. So the fight's off.
How? How's that possible?
Like, it's 3 weeks away, and you're only thinking about the licensing issues now? You've been promoting this thing for months.
But there must be something medical. But there could be something medical that
anyways,
pass, obviously.
They're going to replace him probably with some guy called Steve Cunningham, and he's going to box Frank Mir in the co-main event.
Isn't that the guy from Happy Days?
I don't know. No, he's a boxer. Not as exciting as Antonio Tarver, because he's like a boxer you've heard of. Him and Frank Mir was going to be fun. Steve Cunningham and Frank Mir is like, okay. Frank Mir's boxing some man that's like an unknown boxer that will probably beat him in a boxing match. Cool. You know? Sucks. Like, if Antonio Tarver beats Frank Mir, it's like, oh, well, Frank Mir got beat by Antonio Tarver. But if Steve Cunningham beats him, it's kind of like, oh, all right.
I don't know. I'm not a boxing expert, but I think Steve Cunningham is a decent boxer.
I've never heard of him,
though. His name rings a bell.
Not for me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Let's get
It's not like Frank Mir is known. It's not like Frank Mir is known for his boxing skills, right? So
couldn't they do
Cunningham
Brock
has been in the boxing scene. He's decent.
Like, they're spending all this money on all these jabronis. You know what I mean? Like, they got all these people coming in to do musical performances like Justin Bieber. If I were them, I'd spend money on getting Brock Lesnar to box Frank Mir.
That would be a good one. I agree with
awesome.
that because you got two guys.
I mean,
they hate each other.
Cunningham has a tie,
and I think Brock will probably knock him out.
A draw.
Yeah, he's got a draw with Tarver. Yeah, but Tarver's the name.
This shows
Cunningham
how much I
is
know.
just a
I
guy.
thought he was a white guy, and then I Googled him, and I see he's black. So
Steve Cunningham is not white? That is a very white guy name. I'm surprised. All right.
I thought he was white also.
Yeah.
But if I tell you his middle name is Ormain, it's a little less white.
He could be Southern. You know? Stephen Ormain Cunningham. It's like a Southern name, I think. I don't know. Okay, they've also announced for this freak show of a card on April 17th that Pete Davidson, who's a comedian on Saturday Night Live, I think. Is he still on that show? I don't really know. I know he used to date Ariana Grande, and that's about all I know about this guy.
Wow.
He's like a little guy, you know?
It's getting good.
Pete Davidson.
Okay.
You know about this guy?
I got to look. It sounds familiar. I only know the old school guys from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen him. He's like, I think he's more famous for dating famous people than he is for being
I know who this guy
on
is.
comedy things. This guy.
Yeah, he's funny, actually. Yeah.
Pete Davidson. He's like kind of...
Yeah, I know who he is.
He seems a little...
No, he's funny, man.
He seems a little, you know...
What do you mean, a little what?
Like a guy that I don't really care to hear on a boxing pay-per-view. Seems like a little bitch. Seems like a bitch. But anyways, he's on this thing. He's announced for the commentary team. And then some other people that I have never heard of are on this team. Some supermodel called Taylor Hill is going to be doing commentary for this. Maybe she's like dating Jake Paul or something. I have no idea. But this lady is going to be on the commentary team for the boxing pay-per-view, which is weird. Is this a mugshot?
Is that her?
Yeah, did she get arrested? I don't think there's a mugshot. It just looks like one. So she has been announced as being on this Ben Askren show. And Ben Askren is just like, who are all these motherfuckers around me? And Jake Paul's like, yeah, these are all my friends. He's like filling it with his friends. It's very strange. And some other people that I've never heard of are on this. There's something called Dixie and Charlie D'Amelio. They're sisters, and apparently they are TikTok stars. Now, this is where we become old, guys. I mean, you guys maybe have got there before, but I am officially old. I had no idea that there was such a thing as a TikTok star. People getting famous off TikTok. I mean, I guess I kind of knew.
TikTok or TikTok?
TikTok. I guess I kind of knew, but like I had no idea. I've never heard of these ladies ever. Apparently, they're very famous. They're like 19 or something. They're sisters. They're both famous on TikTok, and they are also going to be on this boxing commentary team. And it's like, this is a lovely family photo. Their dad kind of looks like AJ a little bit, doesn't he?
What?
It's their dad.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Well, I like his jacket, actually.
He would. Jacket. Just the style. I feel like this guy.
That jacket is
this guy and AJ would get along.
Man.
D'Amelio, you know what I mean? They're buddies. They're paisans.
Listen, I see that Mario Lopez is going to be there, and we all know like Mario Lopez. At least that's old school. You know him, Freddie. I'm sure you know Mario Lopez.
Of course. AC Slater, man.
There you go, man.
But I think he's like involved in boxing in some way. Like, doesn't he host?
He does jiu-jitsu.
Does he? There you go.
Yeah, he's a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah, he's
Zach
like
are both jiu-jitsu guys.
He's like a guy who's around boxing. I guess I'm not so disgusted with Mario Lopez. It's just these TikTok stars and supermodels and Pete Davidson. I'm like, why are these people on a boxing commentary team? Like, Snoop Dogg is a stretch, but this fucking shit show of a pay-per-view, I have no idea what the hell they're doing. How they're going to make money.
Biggest payday.
Yeah, well, how are they going to fucking pay everybody off for this thing? This might be the last Triller show ever.
Justin Bieber's going to be there, dude.
Justin Bieber, it's crazy. It's mostly a concert and some boxing matches. It's very weird. Man, it's a very weird event.
Ben Askren's going to be making more money in this event than he's done in the UFC and prior. There's no doubt about it. Jake Paul has proven that from way back with his YouTube fights that he generated millions of dollars and 30,000 people in a stadium. Think about it for a moment. These guys are able to do that. So when they pull out all these top acts and these tic-tac stars or whatever you want to call them, they bring out the numbers, and that's what sells in the end. It's all about numbers, right? It's a marketing game.
And that's the crazy part about this thing is that this Jake Paul guy is pretty famous. He is pretty well known, but, you know, it's like a freak show. It's a sideshow. It's weird, and we're going to watch it, and I hope above all hopes that Ben Askren beats the shit out of this kid, But the reason we're interested in this is
know.
that, Jake Paul's kind of a boxer now, and Ben Askren's been knocked out recently that we've seen, and he's not a great boxer. He's not a great striker, So I kind of want to see Ben Askren whoop this guy's ass, but, yes, Fred.
Dave, you're a closet freak show fan because, like, you say, I'm all in for the freak show, but you don't want the full freak show. You want the freak show to lose, where I'm like, I want Jake Paul to win. I'm full freak show, man. Go for the freak show.
No, I mean, I like it. I'll watch it, but I believe in real fighting over the freak show. And when the freak show is victorious over real fighting, it rocks me to the core and makes me question everything I believe,
Dave, but you know what? I'm going to say one thing. I was listening to Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen, man, I love this guy. He says it as it is. And he was like, for sure this is a freak show, and for sure it's going to be an event. But when it comes down to the competition, there's only one guy in that ring that knows about competition. It's Ben Askren. No matter what, from the time he was a kid, like wrestling at high level, fighting in different like organizations, fighting in the UFC. This guy knows how to load it down in high-level competition. And that's what I'm saying is that, for sure, if it comes to boxing, yeah, Jake Paul has it all and whatnot. But he doesn't have that blood in his mouth of competition like Ben Askren. Because if Ben Askren is going there and they haven't, like, put it into his mind that it might be just like, let's box and let's put it on, but don't kill the guy. If Ben Askren thinks he's going to go in there, he's going in there to hurt this guy. And that's what, like, I'm worried about. You know what? This might turn into, like, from entertainment fight to someone actually physically getting, like, hurt for life. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen, but according to Chael Sonnen, man,
I kind of hope it does. I kind of hope it does, and I'll tell you why. Because you can't play with fire and not expect to get burned. You can't be some jackass beating, having a couple exhibition boxing matches and talking shit to some of the most dangerous men in the world and not expect to get seriously injured. Like Jake Paul has been calling out Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather and all these bad motherfuckers that are real bad motherfuckers. And when you go in there in a ring with some of these guys, you should get hurt. You should suffer the consequences. And hey, maybe Jake Paul has spent all his money and all his time on becoming this great boxer, and maybe he'll beat Ben Askren. But he won't beat like a Floyd Mayweather or a Canelo or a Conor McGregor or anybody like that, because that's fucking ridiculous, right? But Ben Askren, it's a good first step in the direction of fighting real guys. And if he can beat Ben Askren, then he becomes more real. But right now, he's not that real. Now, he's kind of pretend. And if he steps in there and he can beat Ben Askren, good on him. He's a real fighter. But if he goes in there, I don't want to see Ben Askren like kind of outpoint him. If Ben Askren is a better fighter than him, he should fuck him up and let him know not to talk all that shit. Because I am of the belief that you should not be able to go out and talk shit to the most dangerous men on the planet and live to tell the story. You talk that shit, you better get got. And if
but
you,
he's getting in the ring. What do you want more?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm happy. Shit. I'm happy he's talking the shit and he's willing to back it up. But here's the thing, Fred. I don't think he realizes what he's into. I don't think he gets it.
Yep.
I think he's so delusional and so in his world of, oh, Jake, you're the man, and everybody loves you, Jake, and you're so cool, that he doesn't realize that there are real motherfuckers out there that do this for real, for real. And I think that's
you
what...
sounded old there.
Why?
Grumpy old man. You don't like the new kid.
Well, he's not...
And his moxie.
No, I don't like kids that aren't fighters. I don't like people that aren't fighters. I don't think he's a fighter. And I think that he's confused. That's my assessment of the situation. He's been pumped up and told that he's a good fighter. He's paying people to come into his camp, and they're telling people that he's good. And I think that there's confusion there, because what I saw in his last fight was not a great boxer. But I've never seen Ben Askren be a great boxer either.
Who
so
is Askren
there's that.
training with?
Freddie Roach.
But I mean, that's the coach. But who, like Jake Paul is sparring with Jean Pascal, man. That's a good way to prepare
It's true.
yourself.
He's with Jean Pascal.
That's it. He's doing all the right things. He's training with a lot of the right people. It's just that last time I saw him in the ring, it was kind of like, okay, well, this guy's talking way too much shit for the skill level. Like, he wasn't very good, you know? He won. He beat this guy.
He's got 2 more pro fights than Ben Askren.
Well, pro boxing fights.
He's right. But for sure. But he's not fighting boxers. He fought a basketball. But he fought a basketball guy and he fought like an internet guy. Like David was saying, like, you know, you can't start talking shit against a guy like Mayweather, because Mayweather's going to take this guy and use him as a walking punching bag. You know what I'm saying? It's like trying to say is like I can outskate, like, you know, or outplay like Wayne Gretzky in hockey, and I can like do things that, like, you know, Michael Jordan can't do in basketball. Man, if you haven't even got into like NCAA like basketball levels, don't talk trash, man. You know, you can talk trash against guys that haven't done that sport, and you can have like some entertaining fight. But like Chael Sonnen, man, like he said, somebody might get hurt here, and I don't see Ben Askren getting hurt because he's been born into the hurt business. Maybe, you know,
but he's been knocked out before, AJ. That's the problem, and that's why I'm interested in this fight. Is that Ben Askren has been knocked out before? He's not a particularly good boxer. We know this about Ben Askren.
But I'm just saying, like, in the amateur levels of boxing, like for myself and whatnot, I've seen guys get knocked out in boxing, and like at amateur rank, and that's when you know that their boxing life is over. Because if you haven't been punched in the face and you haven't been knocked out, it's a scary feeling when you realize, like, where the fuck are you? And, like, you just don't know where you are. And just like in jiu-jitsu, when people do jiu-jitsu, some guys are so good. But the problem is that the first time that they get choked out, okay, or have something broken in their body because they didn't tap out, that might be the end of their jiu-jitsu or wrestling careers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ben Askren has been knocked out. He knows what it is to get knocked out and come back. He's in the hurt business. Sometimes he's hurting people, sometimes he's getting hurt. But that's his world. When he goes to bed and when he wakes up, he's in the fighting business. And not to take away from Jake Paul, I think he's great in his boxing and whatnot, but he's in the entertainment business. The time that he gets knocked out, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's been knocked out in his sparring or whatnot. You know, you might be hurt and whatnot. But you know what? It's not like training in in the Bronx or something, in some boxing gym, or somewhere in Detroit, like in some boxing gym where people come to train boxing, but they want to fuck you up because they want to be the best. I don't think he's at that level, dude. And you know what? I keep going back to Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen knows what he talks about, and I totally agree with him. I just hope someone doesn't get hurt, and I seriously doubt it'll be Ben Askren.
Yeah, I doubt it as well. I think Askren should win. He should win. But, you know, it's an interesting fight. You can't deny that it's not a walkover, easy fight for Ben Askren, because he is a wrestler who's taken on a guy who's mostly a boxer, and there's a chance that Jake Paul could win. I am not going there. I'm going to go with Ben Askren to win. I think that the real fighter should win. And I think Fred is going with Jake Paul, which makes things fun. Right? That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun on April 17th when we do it. It's going to be fun on Saturday night when we do the UFC 260 watch-along. We're going to be here watching UFC 260 with you Saturday night, 10 p.m., right here on the channel. And, hey, Team Dave, Team AJ, Team Fred, like a lot of different teams, a lot of different picks going into the card on Saturday night, right, guys? We got a lot of different picks going on. Freddie is going with Stipe for the win. AJ and I going with Ngannou. I, by myself, going with Woodley for the upset. Freddie and AJ going with Vicente Luque. Freddie likes Thomas Almeida. AJ and I going with Sean O'Malley. We are unanimous, and my lock of the night is Miranda Maverick over Jillian Robertson. And we also like Marc-André Barriault over Abu Azatar. So those are some big fights coming up Saturday night. We will be here with you Saturday night, 10 p.m. to watch UFC 260. Do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and when you subscribe, click the bell so you get notifications every time we are on. I will be back here tomorrow night, 10 p.m., right after SmackDown with Johnny North to talk about WWE and everything going on there. Everything after SmackDown will be on after the big SmackDown show, as we're 3 weeks away from WrestleMania. I was on last night with Green Phantom and Glenn McKenzie. An alternate crew. An alternate crew last night. Green Phantom and Glenn McKenzie. Big Green, Big Glenn. And we talked about AEW Dynamite, so you can check that out right now on the Ringside Report Network. RingsideReport.net is our website. Go to bet99.com. Use that promo code RINGSIDE. And don't forget to get a great deal on the best in audio entertainment with SiriusXM. Get your first 3 months of streaming for only $1 when you go to sirius.ringsidereport.net. Let me tell you, as a guy who's had Sirius XM radio for years and years, I love it. Hip Hop Nation, LL Cool J's Rock the Bells, Shade 45, Howard Stern. Tremendous stuff on Sirius Satellite Radio, Sirius XM. And 3 months for $1 is a ridiculous deal. Get a great deal on the best in audio entertainment. 3 months of streaming for only $1 when you go to sirius.ringsidereport.net. That is crazy. That's honestly a ridiculous deal. If I didn't have Sirius, I'd be signing up for it because, you know, it's a great deal and it's a great product. It really is. And I'm not just saying that because they're a sponsor.
Just to Howard Stern, man.
Yeah, for $1.
Just to listen to Howard Stern, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's amazing, man.
Tremendous. I'm a fan of Howard Stern, but I really like the music. There's so much good music on Sirius. Yeah, I listen to Outlaw Country, Willie's Roadhouse. Freddie, you'd love it. You know, Freddie, do you have Sirius? You should sign up. Get yourself some Outlaw Country, some of that Willie's Roadhouse, the Willie Nelson channel. You know you like that. I think Drake has a channel now, so that's good. You know, you guys are all big Drake fans. All right?
I'm sure it's a great product. Song that I got Apple Music.
God damn it, Fred. Man, it's better. It's different. It's a different thing because that's like more like just streaming music, but Sirius, it's radio. You know, there's hosts and it's...
Dave,
they got radio.
Yeah, it's not as good. I'm telling you, Sirius is the best. It's very good.
With Sirius, actually today I heard a song which I never heard before, and I'm like, man, this is a good song. It's old school song. It's called, I don't know if you know this one. It's called the Dream Warriors. Wash Your Face in My Sink. That was like awesome, man. Have you heard that one?
I don't know.
I've never heard it, but on Sirius I heard it, man, and it was like, wow, man, this is so Dream Warriors.
Yeah, it's good.
Wash Your Face in Your Sink. You know that song, Freddie?
I don't know. Sounds familiar.
I don't know that
Check
song,
it out.
but I know the Dream Warriors.
Man, I'm going to send you the link. I was like, man, this is a good song. Sirius rocks, man. You can't find this shit anywhere else.
There you go. Go to ringsidereport.net. We will be back here Saturday night for the UFC 260 watch-along at 10 p.m. right when the pay-per-view starts. We'll be watching it here with you. Follow AJ at Danny Bruck on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me at Dave Simon MMA. You can't follow Fred anymore because he got kicked off Twitter, which is disappointing. I was on Twitter the other day and I saw a Donald Trump Jr. tweet that somebody else had like retweeted, and I was like, oh, Donald Trump Jr., is he still a thing? I used to see his tweets all the time, but that's because I used to follow Fred, and he would like and retweet, and that's how I would see all the Don Trump Jr. stuff. And so ever since Fred has been removed from Twitter, maybe because he just kept retweeting Donald Trump Jr., and you know the Trumps and Twitter, they don't go well together. I don't know, but Fred is not on Twitter anymore. Bring Fred back to Twitter. That's what I say.
Bring Fred back.
Fred is too dangerous for Twitter.
Man, you got me to all these conspiracy theories.
It's crazy.
It was awesome.
Fred's banned from Twitter. I'm banned from Bell Media. Like, this whole show is banned. AJ, what are you banned from?
I want to be banned from something.
I'm banned
what
from...
was I banned from?
Banned from Bell Media.
I'm trying to think, what can I be banned from? Let's think of something. I want to get banned from something.
All right. Well, you're banned from this show for now until Saturday night. Okay? Thank you, everybody, for watching. We appreciate you. We'll see you again soon. I'll be back here tomorrow night, 10 p.m. after SmackDown.